very close in terms of PB, so this should be very good. Runners are off, and here we go. So, see if they try and go for, it's like Dark Shadows is going to try to go for a combo, and he was looking for Burning or Wheel and did not get it. He got Mike instead, so he's already playing at a slight deficit. lozplyr is about half a room ahead, did not go for the mix. Dark Shadows is taking a bit of abuse here. Already been hit 3 times. LOZ going for a little health refill at the bottom of the pond. So does Dark Shadows. So as you tell, our runners are going to try and get to, well, not 5. They want to be at 7 as much as possible, but that's not always easy. It is a matter of timing, and can throw you off. I think LOZ got a 6 on that one, so he's about a third of a stage ahead right now, maybe 8 or 9 seconds. And nice job getting the 2 enemies inhaled for a quick kill on Poppy Brothers Senior. Dark Shadows does the same. Decent platforming for both players, and 1-2, a pretty straightforward stage. Another 6 for LOZ. Let's see if Shadows can get something a little better here. And gets a 5 again, and he has to climb, which unfortunately wastes more time. So that's 2 in a row for him. See if he can improve his timing on that. So LOZ is going to get Burning here, which is the most common ability you're going to see used in Nightmare and Dreamland. And there are some others that will get some play. UFO might get some play. Tornado's going to get some play here and there. High Jump is certainly going to get some play. Dark Shadows trying to get Burning, having a little trouble acquiring it. He's also playing it safe, trying to avoid any of the enemies. LOZ is going to go for another health refill at the end of 1-3. Got hit. Gets Burning back. So good. Ooh, Dark Shadows got hit right off the bat as he exited. Luckily, he can get Burning back. So it's been a kind of a rough go for Dark Shadows early on here. He's gotten hit a lot. Alright, so another mini-boss. Nice. So the recoil to finish him off. So we're on 1-4 now. I think both players might go for the Hyper here, just to final section of 1-4 a little easier. See, if remains to be seen if we both will probably keep their Burning or make, even though it's going to be a little slower against Wispy as opposed to, say, Needle, but it'll make 2-1 a little faster process. So nice finish there by lozplyr. 1-4. He's about 15 seconds ahead, I'd say. Dark Shadow's getting hit. Still having trouble avoiding taking damage. A lot of little time lost there. Does use Hyper, so LOZ is at Wispy Woods now. Gonna hammer away with Burning, and takes care of business. Nicely done. Good fight. Dark Shadow's about to take on Wispy as well. So LOZ is going to finish a time of 4:09 out of Vegetable Valley as we go into Ice Cream Island. Second of 8 worlds. What happened to LOZ's screen, but okay, so Dark Shadows is out at 4:27. So 18-second gap as we go into World 2. LOZ lost Burning, unfortunately. Let's see if Dark Shadows can hold on to it for a little bit longer. He does. First section. Got a chance to catch up here. I'm not sure what exactly happened there with LOZ's screen, but LZ does pick up Tornado, which, you know, as I stated before the start of the race, is the most common ability used in Kirby's Adventure. Here, it's popular, but it doesn't quite get as much use. LZ gotta be a little mindful of his health in 2-2, which is a pretty short stage. It's got a wheelie as the mini-boss. And that shouldn't be too difficult. It'll probably switch to wheel to get through the rest of 2-2. Dark Shadows is closing in, and he's going for the double here, so this should be a pretty easy fight. There it goes. Dark Shadows also using the double, and we get a health refill as well. Another health refill. So yeah, this is the end of 2-2 is actually the first instance of Nightmare in Dreamland being a little different than Kirby's Adventure. The end of 2-2 is a bit different. So much closer now as we get into 2-3, which will have the first arena fight with Meta Knight's minions. And again, there is a glitch here, a physics glitch you can exploit in Kirby's Adventure in 2-3, allow you to skip the underwater section that our runners are going through right now. That does not work in Nightmare in Dreamland. So, still not sure what's going on with LZ, but Dark Shadows is underway with the arena fight, and this is actually a case where using Kirby's natural inhaling ability is better than you know, trying to use an ability, because these enemies are actually pretty well armored. Good fight from Dark Shadows, 2-3. So Dark Shadows actually took a sort of a soft reset there at the end of after 2-3 to get his health back up for 2-4. He's gonna use Spark against mini boss. Nicely done, quick and easy. I think he was hoping to sail on through without Spark, but it was not to be, so he's just going to carry on as normal Kirby here. It's not a bad idea to know some of the powerless strats. If things don't quite go your way in a race, it's good to have some backups in place, and it's probably not uncommon to have to resort to those powerless strats. So one more stage for Dark Shadows here in 2-5. Going to be an interesting mix of platforming, and we're going to see I think our first sense of high jump here, which will be used a lot in the third world, butter building. Shadows lost wheel, wants to get it back. It does make this section a bit faster. It's uneven terrain. It can get the platforming down, which Shadows does a nice job of. Now he's going to switch over to high jump for the final quarter of this stage. A paint roller, the second boss of Kirby's Adventure. This is one where you really want to time it right and try and hit him without, you know, losing any. But it's a tricky thing to do. Looks like Dark Shadows has got a nice setup there. And nice fight. Had a little trouble at the outset. But, nicely done. So butter building is the level where things do start to get a little more difficult. A lot of close quarters platforming. And that can be tricky. Dark Shadows finishes off TikTok there. We'll move on. Ooh, he's taking a little bit of damage. He actually continued to stick with the high jump here. So 3-1 in the books for Dark Shadows. Maybe a little mindful of his health here in 3-2, but he should be okay. Again, platforming's got to be pretty precise. Lost a health refill there with the tomato. This section here with the vertical platforming is different than in Kirby's Adventure, which is horizontal in several stages. Here, they mixed it up a little bit. We got LOZ back on. He's a 2-3, so he's about a full world behind, but see what happens here. Bugsy, one of the more notorious mini-boss in the Kirby series, particularly in this game because of his ability to cause all sorts of trouble. Ooh, Dark Shadows taking a death there. But luckily, he doesn't have to start over because each room is a checkpoint. So 3-2's ending. Another minor variation between the two. So so Dark Shadows in 3-3 now. This is actually one of the shortest stages in the game. All told, it's only a couple of rooms. Nice 3-3 from Dark Shadows. LOZ holding on to Spark for the end of 2-4 here. Dark Shadows about to take on the second arena fight. Ooh, LOZ getting dinged there by the Spark enemy, unfortunately. So again, this is a fairly short fight. I think he was trying to go for a little trick where you can actually try and keep high jump if you time it right, but did not quite work out, so you have to roll with regular ability. Ooh. Luckily, Dark Shadows... Ooh, LOZ taking a death there in at the end, started 2-5. That's not ideal. Luckily, it's not a huge time loss since it was beginning here. Three, 3-5. So Dark Shadows is going to go back to the museum to get high jump for 3-5. Help himself to a hyper while he's at it. See if he can hold on to this hyper all the way to bonkers. Looks like he will. Nicely done by Dark Shadows. Ooh, LOZ taking another death in 2-5. So be a little careful here. Shouldn't have any troubles with Paint Roller, but got to be careful here. Nice. Ooh, Dark Shadows trying to get rid of the bomb before it hit. I think he just missed, but good time. Nice finish by LOZ player. Gets out at about a 5. Shadow's actually ignoring the 1-up. He's just going to carry on. 3-6. Rest 3-6. Gets high jump again. He goes for any of the health refills here. Nope. Okay, he is going to stop for the tomato there and the end of 3-6. Good idea. Go for Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright. Dark Shadows is going to gamble and guesses correctly on which one. So he takes gets hit there. He's trying to finish him off with high jump, and okay, there it goes. So Dark Shadows finishes off Shine Mr. Bright about 17-13. And so we're in Grape Garden now for Dark Shadows. Unfortunately, lozplyr89 has, due to technical difficulties, has chosen to withdraw from the race. That's unfortunate. Technology does that to you. So wish him the best and hope that it gets resolved soon. That you never want to see that to happen to anybody. One of those really unfortunate thing. Dark Shadows going to go for Tornado. Ooh, well, he's trying to go for Tornado, I think, but having a little trouble. He gets high jump back. That's good. Might be useful in 4-2 in a couple of places. Got to be a little careful, but regardless. Shadows getting hit by a Poppy Brother. Tried to get it high jump back. Didn't quite work, so he's going to have to carry on as normal Kirby for 4-2, which is, for me, one of the tougher platforming levels, and Dark Shadows, unfortunately, demonstrated why with these Poppy Brothers clipping him like that. Grape Garden is a level with a lot of tight quarters and tight platforming, so it can be frustrating to try and navigate your way through without getting hit in a couple of spots. 4-2 is one of the more notorious examples for that, unfortunately. You use Parasol here to take on the two Poppy Brothers. Didn't quite work. We're hoping. Trying to go for a double here. Does a fair amount of damage to them. They're going to give them bombs at the same time. Quite what I was hoping for, but that ending worked out pretty nicely. stoppage here. We're now in 4-3, my favorite stage of the game, just for all of its interesting platforming elements. Shadows is gonna try and get through. He's got a health refill coming toward the end of this airship interior. Careful, he's down to his last life. Good 4-3 from Shadows. Go on to 4-4. The ball ability, 4-4, one of the more nice bit of platforming there by Dark Shadows get through that. So he's going to try and get ahead of the crumbling blocks. Ooh, did not quite get it, unfortunately. Under his last bit of health here, he's got to be careful. He doesn't want a game over, I'm sure. Going with Spark here. Fancy. Do that. Dark Shadows did take a hard reset there to get his health, his lives back, because he was down to 1 HP with 0 lives left. You don't want a game over. I believe you go back to the start of the world, I believe, if you game over here. Don't want that, obviously. Nice fight, nice arena fight from Dark Shadows. 4-5. He's gonna go with trying to hold on to burning. Fortunately, the enemies here do not like to cooperate. They fall and rise and fall and rise, and they cause all sorts of misery for our runners. Even the veterans, who have a lot of experience here, just be given all kinds of fits with the enemies here. So you gotta kind of run with it. Ooh, gets hit again. Should be able to get through this final section. Takes the 1-up, nice. And gets out of 4-5. Yes, for those just joining us, lozplyr89 unfortunately had to stop due to technical issues that were inhibiting him from playing the game. I don't know what will happen as far as the results are concerned. That is up to the tournament, people running this tournament, MK Cocoon and others. It's an unfortunate thing that happened, but Dark Shadows is going to carry on. Continue playing. He's taking a lot of damage throughout this run, but soldiered on and has had some pretty good bits. Boss fights have actually been very good today, up to this point. So, but do give both runners a follow here. Certainly have earned it. Dark Shadows gets health refill there. And he takes another quick reset there at the end of 4-6, get himself back to full health for the Krakow fight, which we'll be using plenty of high jump here. It's a pretty straightforward fight with high jump. Just got to be a little careful with Krakow's somewhat dodgy hitbox spots. But other than that, it's a pretty easy fight. Very nice fight by Dark Shadows 59, taking down Krakow very, very efficiently. So he's out at 27:05 at roughly the halfway point as we come now to Yogurt Yard, the fifth world. Another interesting world that's gonna, wants to go for the bottom route here. Save himself some time and get a free 1-up while he's at it. Use stone here. Speed through this section. We actually went through the floor there, which is great if you're doing 100%, because that's where the hidden switch is. Shadow's trying to navigate around the ice enemies, having a little trouble finding the right route, and accidentally gets frozen there at the end. But luckily that's the end of 5-1. Now, one of the more interesting stages with all the doors you go through and the mix of underwater and land sections and the mini boss fight with Bonkers. It's an interesting set of challenges that have to face, and from a speedrunning standpoint, can make for some interesting challenges. Getting past some of these enemies are a different challenge in and of themselves. He does with Bonkers. Got a nice fight from Bonkers fight from Dark Shadows. Good play so far from Dark Shadows. Gets a 7. Always had some trouble getting those. A little trouble with his timing, but nice to see that one for him. Now come to 5-3, which another level where a mix of abilities will be used here. So high jump to wheel. It's going to be a good use of different abilities on hand here. DarkShadows trying to get over the recoil from the starting with wheel has made it a little difficult for him to get going, but after a couple of false starts, finally gets that head of steam he was looking for. Hoping to hold on to wheel, unfortunately didn't work out. Now he's got to be careful. Oh, takes a death there. That's not what he wanted. Iframes in this game are not especially forgiving, unfortunately. He's gonna try and damage boost his way through this. Does. Fortunately, if a star ability star hits a spike, that automatically gets rid of it. So you're hoping to hold on to it. 5-3 is a little fraught with peril, but not to worry. 5-4 brings back burning for the opening section here. Takes the one up. Nice navigation of those narrow corridors, and then we come to our fourth arena fight. And now we come back and we're going to use ball for this section here. See how good his ball. Ooh, he's trying to navigate the waterfall platforming with ball. Didn't quite work out. Let's give it another go here. Okay. Nicely done there by Dark Shadows. That always struck me as an interesting thing with speedrunning both Kirby's Adventure and Nightmare in Dreamland. Mastery of the ball ability is required to be a top-level runner, and playing it casually, I always thought of ball as that one ability that's about as useless as fleet. And yet, what a strange power it has, and its effectiveness is certainly been demonstrated in many a Kirby speedrun, and Dark Shadows did a nice job demonstrating has done a nice job demonstrating abilities both in 5-2 and in 5-4, and he's holding on to it for 5-5. So, but Dark Shadows uses ball to take out Fire Lion, and we'll move on. Use burning for the rest of 5-5. He will probably switch it over to wheel for 5-6. A pretty short level and a fairly straightforward one, but there are some tricky platforming bits, mostly here in the beginning, that gotta navigate. Dark Shadows does a nice job with that, though. Use wheel, get through the second section here. Nicely done. See how you use wheel to finish off 5-6. I think he's gonna come back to the start of 5-6 before going on to the boss, Heavy Mold, just to see if he can get a hammer. The way the wheel works, it's almost instantaneous. No, he's going to carry on. He's going to use Fight Heavy Mole. I think he just realized, oh yeah, might want to go back. Let's see. trouble getting down at the outset of these. So there it is, nicely done. So this will make Heavy Mole a much faster fight, although the moles he does spit out do give you hammer, but it's nice to have it just going in and make this very quick fight. And okay, he's not just gonna finish him off. Star, so good job by Dark Shadows to finish off Yogurt Yard, and actually got it out in 36:03, and that's did world fun under 9 minutes. Six one is fairly notorious for being one of the hardest levels to get through cleanly because of all of the awkward platforming you have to do, and all the enemies looking to cause all sorts of trouble for you. Though Dark Shadows has done a nice job navigating most of the fairly strenuous parts and takes care of business. World 6 in general is fairly challenging, but 6-1 has gained a reputation for being rather unforgiving as far as that goes. Just took a reset there to get his health back for 6-2. Now for the top level speedrunners, getting Tornado here in 6-2 is paramount, and holding on to it, I believe, all the way to 6-6. You want to hold on to it as long as humanly possible, because the ability makes a lot of those sections in 6-3 to the early part of 6-6 a lot easier and a lot faster. So that's something that they will try and do, but I don't know how practiced Dark Shadows is as far as that goes. Does not appear he's going to go for that. He's going to play his what he's comfortable with, which in a race setting, although probably not much of a race anymore given the circumstances, but as a general principle in a race, you're better off going with what you're comfortable with rather than what you think you should try and attempt. I mean, even if you're behind, better to go with what you know, because if you try and go for something and it backfires on you, you could end up in a much worse state than you were before. He was trying to go for a combo here, didn't quite get it, and he's going to reset the enemy's cycles. Good for... I think he was going for a hammer, or tornado, didn't quite get it. Try again. Gets a mic this time. Third time around, gets it again. Gets the wheel. Okay, that's what he wanted, I guess. Good bonkers fight from Dark Shadows. Wheel certainly will have some utility, largely the end of 6-4, it's going to get some utility, I think. Getting in at the end. 6-3, not so much. Got a couple of uses, but the platforming here doesn't really lend itself to a lot of viability as far as that goes. Though, to be fair, Dark Shadows is getting some decent mileage out of it at the end of 6-3 here. Actually, I was being really careful. Blade Knight there in tight quarters. He definitely wants to hold on to his wheel, especially since he went into all this trouble to get it in the first place. But, he gets past this section. Ooh, Luz gets hit by the falling coconut. See if you can hold on. Okay. Nicely done there. Nice bounce back there for Dark Shadows, and he'll sail through 6-4 end here. So close here to the end of World 6. 2 more stages to go. 6-5 with the (6-5) is actually one of the, I think, the shortest stage by quite a bit in World 6. And again, his keeping wheel is going to make this final section really quick for him. So his perseverance in 6-3 to get wheel on his 4th try is paying off nicely for him. So it's nice to see that working out as well as it has for him. Now gets 6-6. He might be. He's going to stick with wheel. I thought he might have opted to go for UFO. Now he is. Now he's just going to push through. He's going to think he was trying to go for it. Didn't quite work out. He's not going to fight it. Let's see what he gets here. Doesn't get the double, so he's not going to be able to get a one-hit kill on... Ooh. Didn't quite get timed as well as he would like, but nice backup there. Getting the double. Finish off that mini-boss fight. So nicely done. Nice backup strat by Dark Shadows. Final arena fight here in World 6 before he takes on Meta Knight. A lot of enemies here, and the platforming does make it a little awkward in spots, but especially with ice physics. Ooh. 2 more enemies and he's out of here. Nice. Very nicely done by Dark Shadows. He's probably going to take a reset here for Meta Knight. He does. Self all the health he can. Meta Knight can be trolly if he wants to be. The tendency to block attacks, and so far he's doing just that. He's blocked a couple of Dark Shadows attacks. Yeesh. It was a rough go for Dark Shadows, but finishes him off. And another pretty solid world for Dark Shadows. It's out at 44-34, so his World 4, his splits have been pretty good. I mean, took under 9 minutes to get through Yogurt Yard, and it took him only 8.5 minutes to get through Orange Ocean, so he actually improved his time. So nice display there by Dark Shadows. Go for a health refill here. last bit of section here in 7-1. Gets burning. I'm not 100% sure that's what he wanted, but it looks like he's going to go for it. Ooh. Okay, gets sword as a backup. He lost. Sword should work okay. He's going to go for the yeah, so this fight is, that round of mini-bosses is a bit hard if you go for the top route, but, it's also one fewer mini-boss to have to fight. So far, I'm surprised Dark Shadows ditched, Hammer there, because that's actually a good thing to have against Bugsy. Yes, nice fight there. Nice job by Dark Shadows. Yes, Music Will, LZ did end up forfeiting the match. TBD on what that means as far as this goes, but Dark Shadows is putting on a good show for us here. And a fairly credible job. Play been very strong. Really, since he almost actually came overed in World 4 in Grave Garden, one hit away from game overing, but since then he's actually been very strong in his play overall. (7-2) is down. Nice, little unorthodox from what you normally would see is from a, well, like a sub 40 speedrunner of this game, but Dark Shadows made it work very nicely going through the boss gauntlet. Trying to get sword. I think he's just going to go as normal, I think. I'm a little surprised by that. Burning would be pretty useful here, I think. Get through the end of 7-3, but he's going to go his own way. I have Hyper here for close out 7-3, always nice to have. I think it is possible to get through this section without, well, it's still in Hyper. It doesn't quite do that, but very good 7-3 nonetheless for DarkShadows59. At the halfway point here, we're going to 7-4. I'm gonna go with the ball ability. This opening section. Tornado actually is a pretty good ability to use here as well. Like, make some of the sections a little faster. He's not going to opt for that. Gets throw. Well, that not a bad ability to have. Fortunately, almost lost it there. Go back to burning here for the final bit of 7-4. Now he's going to spark. We're seeing a lot of abilities getting some rather heavy use that you wouldn't normally see otherwise. But seems to be working just fine for Dark Shadows. This ending here to 7-4 is actually a new bit of content that is not in the NES version, so It always throws me seeing that. More familiar with the NES version than the GBA version. I never did quite get used to that, so... DarkShadows is going to use Crash here for the wheelie mini boss fight. Ooh, well, he's hoping to. Okay, got it back. Got a little quicker. Wheelie does have a mind of his own in this fight. He does move a little faster than previous incarnations. He is not given much for and this section here is another bane of Kirby Runner's existence. This room in 7.5 is notorious for just causing all sorts of trouble for players. Nice finish though by DarkShadows to close out that section of 7.5. Hold on to wheel here for 7.6, which is otherwise known as the nostalgia trip, where we're going to get to see the abbreviated version of Kirby's Dream Land in 2 minutes. Yeah, MMO did a very nice job going through Wind Tunnel. That was very good. Like I said, he's played very well. The second half of this run, he's really done some interesting and had some pretty solid plays. Not going to get a PB here. His PB going in was 51.08, but he's had a very good second half, I'd say. Going through a lot of this. Having wheel here has made Kirby's Dream Land nostalgia run go very nicely for him. Takes the refill. Goes into bubbly cloud section of 7.6. Okay, so down to the last couple bits here. Gets his ball. So he should be all set for the DDD fight. DDD can and will troll if he wants to, but DarkShadows is in pretty good shape here to make this fairly painless fight. See how it goes. Took a couple of hits there, but still finished him off. And is out at 53.25, so now we're on to the final stages of this Nightmares levels. Opening section here, not too difficult. It's all the same pattern, so long as you just mash effectively, you can get through this pretty quickly. So DarkShadows is taking a lot of damage. A little more than... He's going to have to play defensively now for the final section here. Nicely done. Let's see... So we will see how the nightmare fight goes. As it is with the orb, there is no real, there's nothing really to it. It's all a matter of just knowing the patterns and timing it correctly. It's all the same. It's always the same patterns. DarkShadows missed that first cycle. That cycle's always gotten me. Oh, I share his pain. But, far so good. 3 hits down. Ooh, almost got hit there. 2 more hits and that should do it. Ooh. Almost had, just was a little early on that attack, so he's gonna have to sort of reset himself. Ooh, unfortunately takes a death, so he's gonna have to start over. Luckily, the patterns don't change. Maybe he'll get some... Okay, so that time he got the early hit on Nightmare. Much cleaner cycle here for Dark Shadows. Only 2 hits away from finishing this off. 1 to go. Nicely done. Ooh, doesn't get him. He's going upside down there, but there it is. Oh. Dark Shadows finishes official SRL time 56:40, although see what happens with the aftermath of this race due to LOZ's unfortunate circumstance. So, well, this is not exactly the way gone, and Dark Shadow saying Art wasn't in the run is an understatement. Nonetheless, a solid bit of play there, particularly in World 5 onward. It was pretty solid overall play. So I would say a solid bit of work nonetheless. So we shall see what happens from here. And we welcome DarkShadows59 to the chat. GG.
Hey, thanks.
There you are. So I know the way this turned out isn't exactly what anyone wanted, but kudos to you for carrying this out and finishing.
Yeah, when I saw it come out, like, my heart just wasn't in the run anymore, so I just started trying a few things, some things I'd seen, and maybe, you know, try an odd mix here or there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Overall, you know, as I said a couple of times during the race, second half of the run actually I thought went very well for you. Seemed like a lot of things were working very nicely for you.
Well, except for trying to get the ball at the end of 7-1, and then they've split apart, and it's like, well, let's try for some... Or, no, they split apart, then I ended up getting burning somehow, and then I lost that, so it's like, well, going with Sword. I've started 7-2 powerless before. Why not?
Yeah, and actually, as it worked out, it was a pretty good boss run for you. I thought, you know, again, perhaps atypical, but it went pretty well.
Yeah, I somehow got a gold split on World 7 through all that.
Yeah. Well, a good wind tunnel in 7-5, very good 7-6, good DDD fight, and the good boss run in 7-2. Yeah, I could see that. You know, very good play overall.
Yeah, when you have a good 7-6, it just turns into a long, boring drive straight.
Well, that's all right. Yeah, such as it is.
That World 1, though, was a clown fiesta.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know you were having some trouble kind of getting any momentum going, taking a lot of unintentional damage and just kind of getting hit from every direction you possibly could.
Yeah, the hotheads even sniped me.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, in 1-3, I thought that was like, whoa, well, that's unfortunate. But
I'm hoping we can end up with a rematch, because this, like, RPBs are within, I think, 30 seconds.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we've both been de-rusting, so it should have been a really good race.
Yeah, that would have been good if it had gone, you know, with a little less of the technical difficulties. And yeah, hopefully it does. And if everyone agrees to it sounds like it could happen, as so long as everyone agrees. I don't foresee that not being an issue. Yeah, you guys get the race that you deserve and viewers deserve, because yeah, as you say, with according to speedrun, 26 seconds difference between your PBs, like, boy, that would be something. And, I definitely hope that works out for you guys. See, so yeah, we have you know, a couple races later tonight. Halo Dude's gonna be doing a double header, so that'll be good. Those of you looking to watch more Kirby tonight. And then we have 4 matches tomorrow and 2 more matches scheduled on Monday, one of which involves you, Dark Shadows. You get to face Kin and 11. So good luck to you on that.
Thanks.
So, unfortunately, this one didn't turn out the way we hoped, but GG's to Dark Shadows for giving us a good run all the same, and thanks to everyone who watched and stuck with us. Hopefully we'll be back on later tonight with more Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland action. Currently on the docket right now, we have on SpeedGaming 2 the Super Metroid Double Anti-Bingo tournament going on. And just started a few minutes ago, the Star Wars Episode 1 Racer Tournament is underway, commemorating the game's 20th anniversary, no less. So a couple of good races going on right now. So thanks again for everyone who watched, and give the runners a follow if you haven't already, and give me a follow if you'd like. All support is appreciated. So thanks all for watching. Have a good day.